Let's begin the entry into our iPhone 5, starting with the two pentalobe screws. We have one on either side of our lightning port connector. With these two pentalobe screws removed, we want to utilize a suction cup on the front face of our screen closest to our home button. Once we have a small bit of separation created, you'll notice we used our fingernail to continue that separation to allow our display assembly to be lifted up and reveal our iPhone's internals. There is a small metal cover protecting the connections for our display assembly. Go ahead and remove the 3 Phillips screws that are securing it into place. And once that protective plate is removed, you'll notice the 3 connections for our display assembly that we can gently pry up on, and it should now be free for removal. With our display assembly separated from the rest of our iPhone, we can now bring our attention to removing the battery. You will notice that the connection for our battery is protected with a metal cover. Let's go ahead and remove the 3 Phillips screws that are securing this cover into place. And gently pry up on the battery's connection to release it. Now, to completely remove the battery from the iPhone, we need to pry it up out of its secure location. Unfortunately, this time around, Apple decided to put a lot of adhesive to secure this battery in place. Be careful when prying this battery up, as you might cause damage to it, so please do use caution and a little bit of patience, but eventually it will come out of the phone. With our battery removed from the phone, we can now work towards freeing the motherboard for removal. Let's first start by removing the SIM card tray holder using a SIM card removal tool or a paperclip. Next, we can remove the 3 connectors, starting with our dock port connector. And then the small coaxial plug near the battery connector. And then last would be our connection for the power and volume buttons. Next, we're going to start removing the screws that are securing the motherboard in place, starting with our 3 Phillips screws here. Additionally, near the vibrator motor, securing it in place, we have 3 Phillips screws that need to be removed as well. With those 3 removed, we can now lift the vibrator motor out of the phone. We have 4 connectors that need to be lifted so that we can remove our interconnection cable. With our interconnection cable removed, it's going to reveal an additional Phillips screw that we can go ahead and take out. Let's use a small flathead screwdriver to extract the 3 standoffs at this time. There is a final 2 Phillips screws in the top of the iPhone that we need to extract as well. This will free the motherboard from the iPhone. Let's not completely remove it, as we still have a small coaxial plug that needs to be disconnected. With our coaxial plug disconnected, we can now get the motherboard out of the way and work towards removing our power and volume buttons. The power and volume buttons are held with a series of screws. We've got 3 Phillips that are down on the volume button side, and 2 Phillips up by the top of the power button. As well as a single standoff that needs a small flathead for removal. Before we can remove the assembly from the phone, there is a small metal clip that secures the camera flash into place. Let's go ahead and remove this clip. And now to lift the assembly from the phone, it's a matter of utilizing your spudger, a little bit of patience, and some gentle prying and maneuvering, and we'll be able to remove it for replacement.